Okay, let's talk about a story that's, well, it's almost hard to believe. We're diving into the rise of a true football phenomenon, a talent so huge it's already shaking up the game. We're talking about Lamine Yamal. And the craziest part? His story is just getting started. Let's do this. You know, it's not often a player just grabs the world's attention like this. I mean, so completely and so fast. But then again, we're not talking about just any player, are we? This is one of those special ones, someone who feels like they were born to do this. Every time he's on the ball, it feels like you're watching a legend being written in real time.
So that's the big question, right? How on earth does a teenager, a kid, step onto the biggest stages in football and not just hold his own, but actually dominate? To really get it, you've got to go right back to the start, the very beginning.
All right, Section 1, the birth of a phenomenon. You know how it is. To understand the player, you got to understand the kid.
So his full name, get this, is Lamine Yamal Nasraoui Ebana. He was born back in July 2007 in Mataró, which is this little coastal spot right outside Barcelona. And yeah, back then, who could have possibly guessed that this little baby would grow up to be the biggest young star the sport had seen in, well, in a generation?
And this really sums him up perfectly. Because on one hand, you see this kid with a huge smile, just having fun, loving the game. But then, you see that left foot. And man, there was something else going on there. It wasn't just skill. It felt like destiny. Like that foot was meant for something huge.
Next up, forged in La Masia. I mean, raw talent's one thing, but you've got to shape it, right? And what better place on the planet to do that than Barcelona's famous academy? This is where that little spark of talent really turned into an inferno. You can just imagine it, right? The whispers that would follow him around the local parks. People would stop and watch and say, "This boy, he's different." They weren't just seeing a kid who was good at football. They were seeing something totally unique, something that just stood out from the crowd. 7. Just 7 years old. That's how old he was when Barcelona's scouts were like, okay, we need him now. Think about that. Most kids at that age are still figuring out how to kick the ball straight. And this kid, he was already showing signs of being a prodigy. La Masia knew exactly what they had on their hands.
And here's what's so wild. La Masia, they're famous for this, right? They've produced some of the greatest left-footed players ever. So you have these coaches who have seen everything. And for them to look at this little guy and start thinking, wait a minute, is this another one? That right there tells you just how insane his talent was. So, of course, the next messy talk started immediately. I mean, come on, a small, left-footed magician coming through La Masia, the comparison was going to happen. But here's the thing, and this is super important. He was never just a clone. He was taking all that incredible training and building his own thing, forging his own path.
Okay, on to part 3, the youngest of them all. And this is where things just go into hyperdrive. The story starts moving at a ridiculous pace as he just starts breaking every record in sight.
Mark this date down, April 29th, 2023. He's just 15 years old, 15, and he walks out onto the pitch at the Camp Nou to make his debut for the first team. And he didn't look scared or out of place. He looked like he belonged. You could feel it right then and there. A new era for Barcelona had just kicked off.
And the progression from there is just, it's mind-blowing. The records didn't just fall, he smashed them to pieces. At 15, he's the youngest ever to play for Barcelona. At 16, the youngest ever to score for Spain. At 17, the youngest ever to score at the Euros. Every single year, a new, massive record, all while he was still basically a kid.
All right, Section 4, a goal for the ages. Look, breaking records is amazing, but having that one signature moment that announces you to the world, that's a whole other level. And at Euro 2024, he gave us a moment that, I swear, nobody who saw it will ever, ever forget.
Just picture it again. The ball comes to him right on the edge of the box. There's zero hesitation. He takes one touch, 2 quick steps, and then, boom, he just whips it. A perfect curling shot right into the top corner. That wasn't just a goal, you know. That was a statement. That's the kind of goal superstars score.
And that was it. That was the moment. The whispers were done. After that goal, the entire world was shouting, Lamine Yamal is here. It was his official arrival, a global announcement on the biggest stage you could possibly imagine.
So what does all this mean? It means we're looking at a player who isn't some one-for-the-future prospect anymore. No, he's a major force right now. Which brings us to our final section, the future is now. Let's break down what makes him so special.
First, the dribbling is just fearless, right? He'll take on absolutely anyone. We've already talked about that magical left foot. But honestly, it's the stuff you can't always see. The vision, the intelligence, and that pure hunger to be the greatest. That's what really makes him different.
And his impact is just massive on every level. For his club, Barcelona, he's the face of their future, their great hope. For his country, Spain, he's already their main man. And for football as a whole, well, there's no doubt about it. He's the next global superstar.
You know, when you look at his story, it kind of teaches you something. It's that talent this big doesn't care about age. It doesn't wait around for permission to be great. It just is. And Lamine Yamal, he is the walking, breathing proof of that.
So where do we go from here? He's already done more than most players dream of in an entire career, and he's just getting started. Seriously, his story is just beginning. The entire world is watching to see what the next chapter holds. And if this beginning is any indication, we could be in for the greatest story of them all.